welcome to Hannah's honey farm. So this video, I'm building her actual buildings, aren't I? Got my daughter here with me and I'm going to be talking to her as I do this video. Yeah. So, this is her workshop. And in this part, this is where she makes all of her beeswax and her candles and the honey. And she stores spare bee hives in here as well. Okay. Unfortunately, when I did these videos, I've lost a lot of the footage for the actual house. So you're only really going to see the workshop. So you're actually going to see the workshop and the barn and the warehouse and a little bit of me building her house, but not the full house. Some windows here. So the idea of this house is there's no, well, this workshop, there's no chimney in here. Instead, she's had it built so it's just very open, lots of air. So all the smoke from the fireplace goes out the windows and doesn't actually there's no chimney built. I was going to build a chimney, that's what I was doing on the outside there, but I changed my mind. And even the grill here, I sort of changed my mind on how I was going to build it. So, okay, so here's just a bit of a table. And eventually I'll be putting what I want to be honey pots on there, but I'm using the incense for that, which means it kind of has smoke coming off it, so I had to change that a bit. For the moment, I'm just doing the scaffolding. So here's I'm just changing the grill, like I said. I thought these pieces look better. So shelving units where she keeps all of the, candles that she has made and the honey pots. So okay. So yeah, candles. Well, they're supposed to be candles, but there's no wick in them. So here's where she puts a bunch of flowers, so she might even make scented candles, so she'd also process the flowers and stuff. So all of her supplies, her flowers. Here's some more stuff. So here, yeah, because I had to use the incense to make the honey pots, I've just turned them upside down, but when you do the recording, the incense smoke comes off. So what that means is I had to kind of hide it by flipping it upside down and then hiding the smoke with the boards, because you can't switch that off just yet. Same thing here, I had to kind of hide it with the board, so I just turned them into cupboards. Still works. Of administration. She's got some clipboards and some notices. A little bit of grime, bit of detailing on the walls here. Okay. She'd clean it a little bit, but she might just sweep it out and stuff. Boxes, storage. So this is her workshop. This is where she makes wax candles, scented stuff, creams, oils. So the other two buildings I was going to be doing, I think, slate roof, and I decided for pretty much all buildings it's actually going to be thatch, with the exception of this one, which I think I do still keep as slate. Inside of the roof. Like I said, the idea of this building is no chimney, so it's just very open, so the smoke just comes out the top there. Another reason why it's also not thatch, it's slate. So here we're doing a bit of a custom cart. So this is the cart that she takes into the marketplace, into the city. Again, another asset that's not really in the game, and I probably could have gone onto the workshop, which is like a kind of thing on the computer to download it for the game that someone else has built. I end up replacing that wheelbarrow as well with a more kind of medieval, old-fashioned looking one. That one looked a bit too modern. But yeah, so she has a hand cart. This is something she'd probably just... Oh, actually, I don't know if that'd be too big for a hand cart. It could be something she just hitches one of her donkeys to, or she can just walk it around herself. So this would be like something that she moves around a little bit on the farm. Okay. But yeah, the cart, this big cart is the one that she'd be taking into the town, so she'd probably put a couple of donkeys on this. And that's when she's like bringing in, a lot of her wares into the market. It's something that I probably could have done in a bit more detail, but I think it still works. Somewhere for the driver to sit, just a little, that's where they sit to drive the cart. Put the donkeys at the front, steer it. So I end up doing, I think, 2, but she only has 1, so I do eventually delete the one that's just in the barn. I just keep it on the outside, that way you can see it. So you'll see me delete it soon. So it doesn't move in the game, it just kind of sits there. The donkeys, just got to use your imagination. I'm trying to find a gate that's pre-made and then just accepting the fact I just make it myself. Anyway, windows. Again, I was gonna be a bit cheaty and just do hinted windows, but I ended up doing the inside of this as well. A little bit of light for it. Yeah, so I did start off doing slate roof, but I'll change it to thatch. But yeah, this is just the inside of the barn. It's not really got stalls. It's just where she stores the hay and feed and stuff for the animals. I ended up just changing to more simple glass, just cheaper for her. Yeah, so one of those 2 carts I end up deleting, just because she only has 1. More detailing where the weeds and grass would all grow. Some bushes. So I also changed how it's like material it's built out of. So instead of being more processed wood, it looks like I want it to look a bit more like she's just made it out of wooden logs. So just a little bit more rough, simple buildings out here. So I figure it makes sense that the doors are a little bit like they're made out of planks. They're a little bit nicer. Stone's a bit easier to clean, so the floors in these barns and things, more rustic ones would just probably be dirt, but here the foundations are stone. It's a bit more hardy. But yeah, here's where you see I'm doing these buildings in thatch. Just thatch roofs, which is a pretty common and cheap thing to use it out of. more scaffolding. So this one's not going to be open like the other one. This is the warehouse. It is going to be closed off. But yeah, no need for a chimney. There's no lighting fires in here. It's just storage. Just simple glass window. That way water and stuff doesn't get in there and people can't really climb up. A bit more grime, a bit more wear and tear, so the building's starting to just looks like it's a bit old. Bird poo. So some of that grime looks like grime, some of it potentially looks like bird poop because they sit up there. More hay, more storage. Alright, so here I'm starting to build a well. So my thought is that she's not on the city plumbing, so to speak. So there would be like water under the ground and stuff that's been tapped into, but she doesn't have the same plumbing that the city enjoys. So she has to fetch her own water, and this is a very simple well design, which I got the idea from the game Manor Lords. So a different game, and he does a lot of his Slavic magic. I think he designed it, make this game. He did a lot of medieval research, so I figured, and I liked the idea. I figured it was a good idea. So as you saw from those little clips, it's basically on the idea that you just have a weight on the end of a post, and that weight keeps the bucket up or the rope up for when you're not using it, and when you do want to use it, you just pull the rope down and it just dips down into the water, and the weight on the end makes it a bit easier for you to pull the water back up. So there's no need for cranks or turning anything, you just lift it down, lift it up. So yeah, as you saw there, I did have a bit of a slate roof on this building, and now I'm making it thatch again just to make it consistent. Or I figured the only building that would have slate roof would be the her workshop. So I could also suggest that potentially that workshop's a newer building, and these buildings are a bit older. And she built that, or had that built, to help her with her farm business. That's also why these buildings look a bit older. They've got a bit more wear and tear and a few more cracks and stuff on them. Yeah, I ended up deleting those. Those are just wooden braces. If you look at some old, especially like Scandinavian, European thatch houses, they've got these wooden sections kind of keeping the thatch on top of the roof. They kind of pinch it down. So making her deck, because her house is on a bit of a slope, she has a deck out the front of her door. Underneath the house is where she actually has like storage for a lot of food and stuff under there. It's a bit cooler under the house where it's all surrounded in stone. So just custom making her decking here. So the room that I'll be working on that you can see on camera is basically her mud room. So if anyone's ever been into especially old farmhouses, they'll have a mud room sometimes at the front. The idea being that you take all your yucky boots off and your coats and things, and take everything that's yucky off and hang it up. And then that way when you go into the actual house, you're not carting mud and wet, yucky stuff all through there. This is me just trying to see if I should change how steep the staircase is, but yeah, ended up going with how I had it originally. Just changing the backyard. I don't know if you see it on camera because I lose a lot of footage eventually, but so that's her fig tree, and eventually I do put some apple trees in the back garden, but again, I think I lose a lot of that footage. So front door. Because of the work I was doing in that mudroom, I'm like, I'll have her front door open so you can see in there. You just don't get to see in the rest of the house easily. A little bit of light let into her basement. This is just a substation I need to put into the game just to make lights work. If I have any of those fake lights inside the house, I have to kind of hide a substation in one of the buildings. So that's what I've just done there. So this area is it's kind of her kitchen and living and dining area. It's a nice spot to overlook her farm, so you've got a nice view of all the flowers out the window. So you can see where that chimney is on that side of the house. That's her cooking kind of area. I end up moving that fireplace over where it should be eventually, I think. That's supposed to be the fireplace that's in her bedroom. So me just checking a few things, checking some lights. Alright, her little garden. So she's got a bit of a garden here that she just enjoys putting flowers in. So she'd have some flowers. Some of flowers will be that she grows commercially, but she'd also have a lot that are just she enjoys it. She's got grapes. They probably are not great because they're not in full sun there. There's a lot of shade and stuff there, but she still grows them. She's got more of her grasses and wildflowers there. A bit more bushes. So my thought is that she also grows foxglove, just as like not commercially, but there was a few foxglove growing around the donkey pens as well. So she has some veggies. So my daughter just asked what foxglove is. Foxglove is a type of flower. Yeah, so she's got her just some storage stuff on the decking there, but she's got some vegetables and some barrels and all sorts of storage there that's a bit easier for her to get to. Some common veggies that she might grow would be things like, carrots and maybe beetroot, radishes, potatoes. I end up putting a few, they're not actual potato plants in the game, but something that's closely to try to closely resemble potato plants. So my thought is if she houses people as well and workers and travellers, she'd be getting gifts sometimes like seeds. So she grows tomatoes and there'll be a few plants that she has as well that are not from the region. So this is just meant to resemble hanging up her coats and stuff. It's just general fabric in the game, but trying to make it look a bit more like clothing or blankets and jackets and things. Now I was going to be putting a wash tub in here because this would also be where she would wash things as well. There'd be a drain underneath just to easily get rid of some of the water, but I think I ended up giving up on the wash tub. It just was getting a bit too fiddly and I wasn't happy with how it ended up looking, so I just got rid of it. Just again trying to add some lights around the place. So I think I have an old game map of hers, this place, and she had bay windows on that game map, so I'm just pushing these windows out a little bit to kind of mimic that a little bit, be a bit more faithful to the map. So again, because this is meant to be her kitchen, I've just put some apples and things on there, her apple trees that she has in the back garden. You can tell that she's very much into nature and growing things. So once I do this bay window, I end up cut pasting it to do on the for the other 3 bay windows I think there are in total. So in total there's 4. Just a bit more stationery, not stationery, sorry, furniture. Trying to work out what else she'd have in here. So that's the old wheelbarrow. I decided was a bit better than the more modern looking one. Alright, boots. Wouldn't be a mud room without people's boots in there. So they're not perfect, but just trying to make them look a bit like boots. Okay, that's the drain I mentioned. So if she's washing things out, just chuck it down the drain. And now adding the smaller windows that are around the property and the building. So I figured the main house has this nicer glass, which is more similar to what you see in the main city, but for other buildings like the barn and the warehouse, she doesn't really have that nicer glass. It's just simple. Just lighting things up a bit more here. Okay, so she'd have some herbs and she'd have some flowers. Those basket ferns up there, they're probably something that was given to her by a traveller because they're not really from the region. Right. Now this is where we lost a lot of footage, so you're not going to see any more of me making the house, but I hope you enjoyed it.